Okay, so it's been a minute. Sorry about that. I am currently making a matcha tea, a vanilla matcha tea, because it is my drink of choice. Always. Always, always, always. And I'm always excited to drink a matcha. So that's what I'm making for this podcast. Currently, Everest and Caleb are both sleeping, which is great. I'm actually supposed to start work right now, but I have not made a podcast for like weeks. So, and I've had a lot of things I kind of want to talk about. At least for this podcast, I have a lot to talk about with you. And I've been wanting to get it out there and just share a little bit and discuss this topic I've been thinking about a lot and haven't really been able to talk to anybody about it. And so I just figure you are the perfect person to share a little bit about my thoughts about this topic. And I wanted to talk a little bit about social media, specifically, sorry about the water, social media specifically, and right now I am doing a no social media deal, kick, whatever you want to call it, for 30 days. I'm in the very middle of it. Well, no, I'm not in the middle of it. I'm towards the end of it. And honestly, I am sick of not being on social media. Like, honestly, it really sucks. I think it's actually too hot. I was thinking about going outside. It's too hot outside, so we're gonna sit inside in the air conditioning so we don't get all sweaty and sticky. Honestly, that's a pet peeve. I think I'm gonna go outside later with Everest. And we are gonna set up the pool. We got a pool from Grandma. So we're gonna chill outside, maybe with some company. And yeah. My husband is doing overnight shifts right now. So we will get to see him. It's kind of weird because overnight shifts, if you have ever done them, I have not, because I can't possibly physically do an overnight shift, honestly, truly speaking. Overnight shifts and me do not mix at all, but he is currently doing overnight shifts and will be doing them for a few days. And so it's like he sleeps during the day for a large portion of the day and then is awake all night. And it's not like he sleeps very much during the day. He'll sleep until like noon or 2, something like that. And then he won't sleep until 7 a.m. the next day, which is not good. I don't even know how many hours that is, but that's like 22 hours awake or something. I know. Maybe I'm not doing my math right. Anyway, so right now they are both chilling, sleeping. So I have time to work. But honestly, I just wanted to prioritize this podcast and prioritize a YouTube video or two. Because honestly, it's almost like so I've been keeping like my house super clean because Everest has been crawling and starting to like try to take steps and stuff, and he'll eat everything on the ground. So I have to sweep every single day and mop every other day. I can't possibly mop every day. I totally could, but it's like sweeping it already every single day is like a lot. And we're going to get like this area rug so that he can walk like safely, like learn how to walk safely, because he's like standing and then falling and standing and falling, and he's falling all the time on our hardwood floor. So we just need like an area rug of sorts to lay down. And I think today we're going to Sam's Club and we're gonna get something like that. It's kind of like a priority of mine today to get that rug so that when he is playing around and I don't have to worry about him falling all the time. So yeah. Anyways, back to what I was originally talking about, social media. It's such a weird thing. I've had time to think about it. I'm actually making a YouTube video about this, kind of just about my experience. So if you want to check that out, you can check out Georgia Hertzberg on YouTube. So I'll be posting that at the end of this week. I'm hopefully going to post this video immediately, or this podcast. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to just talk a little bit about social media, and then I wanted to talk about just talk about a few things that you can do other than social media. And I feel like, okay, this is like a very simple thing, but I found I was freaking bored without social media, and in the most critical times too. It's like when you're at the doctor's office and you're waiting to meet the doctor or whatever, and everyone in the office is looking at their phones, and you're like, well, what's the point of my phone? I guess I could text somebody. I could, I guess, play a game, but I don't ever think to play games. That's just not me, And so anyways, I'm going to go into that. Like, what do you do in weird, awkward situations where everybody is on their phone and you're the only one that's on your social media? So blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Or just in general, what to do when you're like just at home and you don't know what to do. So anyways, but first I wanted to talk a little bit about social media. I think I was thinking a lot about it off and on, because I would think about it mostly when I wanted to be on social media. I was like vacuuming our car, and I needed to wait for somebody to help me with something else. And so I was waiting, and I was sitting outside, and it was like 90 degrees out, and I was just sitting out, outside waiting. And it was so hot, and I was just like, I just gotta, I'm just gonna chill here, sit outside. It's like a beautiful day. I'm gonna, pay attention to be present, pay attention to being present, whatever. And so I'm sitting there waiting, and all I wanted to do was be on social media. And I think I've had these situations over and over again when I was not on social media for this period of time, where I was like, oh, I just want to be, like, I feel like it's such a gift or like a present or like something super fun to do, being on social media. But then again, I mean, I know that there are positives to not being on social media 100%. Like, I found myself like wanting everybody around me to just be more present and like, let's talk or pay attention or hang out, instead of like sitting on our phones. People that I'm with all the time, that kind of thing. Because people that you're not always with, you're like usually doing stuff with them. But even those people, they would chill on their phones while we're out like at a site or whatever, and it's like, oh, I kind of just wish I could be on it. Anyways, so then again, when I'm thinking all these things, it's like, is it defeating the point of getting off social media and renewing my mind? You know, I don't know. So, I think social media in general is such a weird thing, because it's like, why do we feel the need to have to share every single thing we do, or a lot of things, with the world? You know what I mean? And then on the other hand, it's like, we are so curious. We want to see what the world is doing itself. You know, we want to know what so-and-so is doing at this time or whatever. But why? Is it just because we're social people and we want to be a part of people's lives? Is it because we're nosy? Is it because we have nothing better to do? Is it like, I don't know. Because I think about, like, when people vlog, which I love to do, which is, I don't understand it, you know? Like, when you vlog, you are showing every aspect of your day to people, or whatever. Why do we think that is so entertaining? Number one, why do we want to share, is my question. And, like, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Like, we watch TV, like, we'll watch a show and we'll watch a story play out. But vlogs are like real time, real people, and the story is playing out in front of us. And they did that. Maybe that's why we like it, or we just like being a part of the world around us. We like knowing what people are doing. Something like that. We're just curious. We just want to be a part of each other's lives. Maybe we are always trying to compare and we want to know what they're doing. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe we just want to hear their story or see what their life is about. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But all I know is people are obsessed with it. And we've never had this much access to the world around us, you know, since I didn't grow up with knowing everything about everybody, you know. I didn't at all. The world was so much smaller when I was younger, growing up. My kids are going to be like this generation where all they know is technology, which for me blows my mind. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm sure there's some science to behind why we want to know or why it's interesting. I think for me, I've always been interested in the lives of people from all over the world that have a different, I think this is something when I grew up. I remember the first time I studied abroad in Spain, and well, I only did one time, but when I did, I realized I was so interested in the people that grew up in different countries. Like, I wanted to know what their childhood was like, why it was the way it was, why they thought the way they thought, to how to get to where they are now. And everybody is so different, and everybody has like a different story, even if they grew up in the same country, in the same city, in the same like close town, in the same town, like little town or whatever. Their family dynamic is completely different than their neighbors. You know what I mean? So the way that they are is completely different. And I always thought that was extremely fascinating. And I always wanted to know their, like, anyone's, like, story. Like, from France. I had friends from France. And they were from Brittany. Like, it's a small, I think it's colonized itself. Or they want to be their own country, but they're technically, I think, in France. Sorry about that noise. Anyways, and they're just like a little tiny small town, like next to France or whatever. But their story is so interesting, and they grew up in Brittany, and then, well, their winter house is in Brittany, and their summer house is in Seine, France. Seine, I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but the south of France. And like, they have a house also in Paris, and it's like, my gosh, what a cool story. One of the sisters, was going to school to be a nun, and the other sister was going to school to be a doctor and dating this guy, and shortly after got married. It was just like their whole story of like, and childhood is like radically different than mine. So maybe that's why we like want to know. I think that's why I want to know, just because it's so different, and I love hearing people's stories. Maybe I should make segments like that. I don't know. Maybe I should talk more about that. Anyways, so that's probably why we want to be on social media, because we want to see what the world around us is doing, Yeah. And then again, all that is amazing, but also there is a lot to not being on social media. Your world gets way smaller. You are focused more on the people and the community and your family. And I have been cleaning our house like crazy. Our house has been so clean with a new baby, and that is awesome to me. And I was thinking, like, how did I keep up with YouTube and all these other things before? I think maybe our house wasn't as clean, I wasn't on social media as much, or I was more on social media, and I did keep up with YouTube and podcasts, but our house maybe wasn't as spotless as it is now. Or, well, it wasn't as spotless then as it is now, so I don't know. But anyways, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about things that you can do other than social media. Yes, social media is really awesome. I don't know that I'm ever gonna not be on it. Maybe I'll do this more often, where I take 30 days off here and there just to like get centered in a way, or just to focus on other things, because social media is such a trap in a lot of ways too. Like, I will find myself scrolling and scrolling for an hour in the morning or 2 hours, or just like in between all these, all like in between all the other things I need to get done in the day. And then I'll like, oh, just a little bit longer, or I'll just look at this and I want to watch this video. But in reality, I really should be doing a lot of other things. So, and I'm sure that's the same story for you, listening. Maybe it's not. Maybe it doesn't have the same pull on you as it does for me. I was actually supposed to be reading a book by Francine Rivers called The Lady's Mind with my sisters, but I have not even started it, so don't tell them. But we haven't really like made a date. Like, we never set a time of like when we were gonna have like a certain amount of pages done. We never did that. So maybe once we do that, I will commit to it. Actually, I will commit to it once we set how many pages in so many days. And honestly, I should get to them for that. But get to them to like talk to them about that today. But what I want to start talking about now is what you can do other than social media if you decide to go, 30 days, a week. Maybe you don't do 30 days. Maybe just do a week. See if you can do a week. Or if you want to do longer. I did see someone do like, I heard of someone doing like half a year, like 6 months without social media. That is like such a big deal. It's crazy. So anyways, let's begin. I made a list of things that you could do. I just started thinking about things I was doing and things I thought you might be interested in because I'm interested in them. Okay, so number 1, you could go to a national monument. I think that is a huge opportunity. Maybe if you live too far, maybe this isn't the best thing. Maybe, go to do something that's touristy in your town, or something people might want to see if they're visiting your town, something like that. I would say I grew up in Minneapolis, and there's a lot of touristy things I never did growing up that when I lived in Minnesota I should have done and seen. Like, I feel like I have a vague memory of the cherry on the spoon like sculpture at the sculpture gardens in Minneapolis, but I feel like I've seen it, but not up close. And I know that it's like a very touristy thing to go see, and I never did that. And that I feel like I have, but I don't really remember it. Not as an adult. Maybe we went as kids in a field trip or something. But I think that that's really important to do, because if you live in a place for so long, like when we lived in Texas, we went to the stockyards all the time, and that's super touristy. But there was something in Texas. I never went to Waco, and I really wish I would have done that, which is Waco is Chip and Gloria Gaines. What is that? Magnolia Fields or Magnolia, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. I did not go there, and I really wish I went. But a lot of people told me it was like cupcakes and furniture and fields of flowers. But still, like, I still wanted to go to it and just see it. I'm right there, and it's like super popular and well known, and I should have just gone, but I have never gone. So hopefully if we ever visit back, then I will do that. But anyways, go see like a tourist or a national monument in your area with family or by yourself and just experience it. That's an awesome thing to do. You could read a book, which I already mentioned I I still have like a week left. of my 30 days no social media. But I think reading a book is a lost art. And I think a lot of people, I know people still read books, like, don't get me wrong, but like almost any book you can find, it's just, you can find, an audio book for it, almost everything. So sitting down and reading and taking the time is such an awesome thing. And as the weather gets cooler, which it's not this week at all, it's like 90 degrees here. As it gets cooler, I really want to sit outside on the patio and with a matcha, of course, and read and bring the playpen out and let Everest like play around, and we just chill outside. Yeah. And I want to read. You could go for a walk. If you have kids, this is the best thing to do to tire them out. Honestly, Everest and I will go for a walk, like an hour-long walk. He's not walking. He's either in the stroller or in the carrier. And he will go out for an hour or for a mile, whichever comes first. Usually a mile will be first and then he'll be tired. But sometimes we'll go longer and he has lots of energy and we'll go just walk around in town. And then we'll come back and he'll be exhausted and ready for his next nap. And that way he gets out, he's super stimulated, and he is busy looking. He doesn't get fussy at all until it's time for him to go to eat and go for a nap. Highly, highly recommend, because then you're getting your exercise, getting steps, you're losing weight, you feel good, and yeah, it's just an all-around win. And yeah. You could visit a friend you haven't seen in a while, or a friend that you've seen recently, but I just felt like something exciting and fun would be like, let the Lord lead you to like, or somebody that's been on your heart that you haven't seen in a while, go meet them for coffee, or go to a splash pad if you have kids, or go do something fun, together. I think that is that's just an awesome, really important thing, is to see friends that you don't always get to see. And not being on social media offers you more time to do that. Call a friend, that's been on your heart. Give them a call. Check in, that kind of deal. This one I really, really love. Call a family member you don't normally talk to. So everybody has those people in your family where you don't talk to them like you talk to a lot of people. Like you talk to certain people in your family more, and then there's other people where you don't talk to them as much. And I love doing this, where I'll call a family member that I really, really love, like a person that's really been on my heart, and then just chit chat, for half hour, whatever. Shoot the breeze. You know what I mean? You could journal. You could just talk about what's been on your heart, what's been going on in your life. You could write a story. You could, there's so much you could do with journaling. You could just write out your feelings, write out what you're thinking, write about what it's like not being on social media. I bet when your kids come out, or maybe your kids' kids, like grandkids, maybe social media will look different. I bet it will. Instagram can't be like that interesting for the next, 50 years. There's got to be some other new social media or some other way of communicating and getting in touch with people than that, So write about it. You could go hiking. Maybe you live in a mountainous area, or maybe you can drive to one. And that is a huge, awesome. I went hiking recently with friends in the area, and we live in a mountain area, and it is awesome. because I was able to get lots of workout in, and it was such a hard workout, actually. Like, it legit was intense workout, and I couldn't believe how intense. Well, I was also carrying the baby in front and a carrier, but like still, like that was a huge workout. And we did a 5-mile hike that day, and we were like going straight up hill for 2 miles or whatever. Crazy. Such a good workout. You could organize your closet. I have recently got into this show called, I think it's just called Organize Home Edit. I think it's like Organize Home Edit, something like that. And it's on Netflix. Go check it out if you like organizing. I don't know why. This just satisfies me to the core, this show. Seriously. And I am going to copy everything that they do. I want to buy the pan separator. They have like these, they're like, what are they? Basically, they separate your pans so they're vertical, like up and down, and then you can just pull each pan you want out by the handle. Such a genius idea. Instead of them all being stacked and then you have to rummage through them, you just reach in and grab them. It's so awesome. And all the different like organizing things that you can buy. Such a huge like win in life. And then everything organized in color coded in rainbow. Oh my word, that is my dream satisfaction, everything. I don't know, I just love it. And also like cleaning out your closet. I know I talked about the kitchen because that's kind of my mindset, is like organizing the kitchen really well. But I do need to organize my closet, and I have, I was downsizing, getting rid of stuff. My deal with the closet, which I know is everybody's deal, is, I might wear that someday. Like, I don't wear that often. You only have probably like 10, 15 pieces that you wear all the time, I think, and that you like most. But then you have all these other pieces that you might wear, and for me anyways, that's what I have. And because I still have baby weight from having a baby, it's like, oh man, like I'm gonna lose the weight, and I think, yeah, I'm gonna lose the weight. I was just gonna say something else, but like having more kids, hopefully we're having more kids, soon. And so it's like, I'm gonna lose the weight, but then I'm just gonna gain it back and then lose it and gain it back, all these things. So I wouldn't be able to wear the clothes that long, but and the style just goes out so fast that half the clothes that I have that I used to wear that don't fit me anymore, but will fit me if I lost the baby weight, but I'm probably going to get pregnant again. I mean, that style is going to go out, or already is out, Anyways, so getting rid and purging is awesome and such a good thing to do. You could vacuum your car. I recently vacuumed my car like a month ago, but we do need to vacuum the front, the floor. The floors need to be re-vacuumed. And but it's so nice when people get in your car and they're like, oh my gosh, your car is so clean. And I love that. It's going to be like a weekly chore, or every other week. I think it's going to be every other week when our kids get old enough. That's going to be like a chore. Like, I want our car vacuumed and neat all the time, even with kids. You could clean, like you could do laundry, and that's a really awesome thing to do. You are bettering yourself. You could clean in general, clean something you haven't cleaned. Like, I was organizing our baby room. I got that done in this time. Like, I got rid of all the clothes that don't fit Everest, and went through things that don't fit him, and I put them in vacuum sealed bags and then put them out in the shed. And then I rearranged his toys, and I took out the pack and play and brought it into the living room so he can play out here. And I got rid of the bassinet because he's too big for that now, and put the pack and play, a different pack and play in our room. So just reorganizing his stuff. Oh, it's really nice to organize. You could do a DIY project. I don't know if this is actually a DIY project, but I was bleaching Caleb's and my shoes. We have white shoes, and I was bleaching them like pure white. So that is really awesome. I really love pure white shoes, but we live in dirt road, so I don't know why we even have white shoes where we try, but we both like white shoes. What was another project I did? I feel like I'm always doing cleaning projects, but I know I did some DIY projects. I've been blowing up the pool for Everest. You could get a pool and be outside more, even though it's super hot. You could just sit out in your swimsuit and with your kids and we just got a pool and it has like a cover over it and just hang outside and just be out in the sun. It's an awesome thing to do. You could paint with acrylics or watercolor. That's something that Caleb and I love to do. We used to do it a lot more. Like, I don't think we've done it since Everest has been born, but we used to do it like a couple times a month. We would just paint prophetically what the Lord was speaking to us, a picture. And it was always like, it was cool because it was always like whatever we were going through. Like, it was always the season, whatever season we were going through, the picture spoke to it. It was awesome. I really, really love that. And I would definitely suggest letting the Lord speak to you prophetically and just painting what the Lord is showing you. You could go to a splash pad or a pool or a lake. I find that hard to do with Everest, but we have gone to a lake in the area and there's like walking trails and there's a beach and there's lots of people and food and gift shops and there's just a lot going on at the lake. It's always a good thing. You can rent paddle boards and canoes and kayaks, and that's always a really fun thing to do. Our baby is too small for that. Well, yeah, pretty much too small. So we won't be doing that, but awesome. And if you live by the ocean, definitely go to the ocean, go to the beach. You could learn something new like guitar or any instrument. You could start that. You could learn a new language. I highly recommend. Caleb's dad actually is starting Hebrew. He just felt like the Lord wanted him to do it. So he is taking a college course on Hebrew, which I thought was incredible and super exciting. You could go on a date, whether you are dating somebody or not, or if you're married, go on a date, or if you're dating someone, go on a date, or if you're single, go on a date. Meet someone and go on a date. Or ask somebody you've always wanted to ask out on a date. Or go on a date with a friend. You know, it doesn't have to be like a romantic date. It could just be a date with a friend. Go get sushi or your favorite food. You could make a film, make a movie. That's always super fun. Think of a story and put it all together and make a film and put it on YouTube, or just make a film to share with friends. Yes, good job. Everest woke up. I had to take a break for a second, and he woke up and he's ready to play. You could plan a vacation. Maybe you don't go on the vacation. Maybe you do. But you could at least plan one where you would stay, where you would, do research. How you would get there, what it would cost, where you would stay, what you would do there when you're there. All these things. That would be really, really fun. And then maybe one day you can actually go do it, or maybe, once gas prices go down or the market gets normal again, you could actually do it. Or you could just start saving any of that. All of that would be so much fun. You could actually go on a vacation, plan it, and then go on it. Or you don't have to necessarily go on it, just plan one. I think that alone would be fun. You could make a baby. I'm not going to really say anything more about that. You know what I mean. If you're married, only make a baby. I wouldn't suggest making a baby if you're dating or in a relationship or if you're single. Not gonna promote that at all. That's not the Lord's plan for you. So just wait to make a baby until you're married. But if you are married, you could make a baby. Hopefully you know what I'm saying. You could go out and eat someplace new that you've never eaten before. Maybe try a cuisine from a country you've never eaten before. If you're in such a luxurious place where you can do that, that would be awesome. I'd highly recommend trying different cuisines from different countries. It's such a fun thing to do. And step out and get something you wouldn't normally get. Don't get chicken nuggets, from Guam. You know what I mean? Like, don't go to a place of Guam, like a Guam restaurant, and then get chicken nuggets, okay? Know what I'm saying. Get something like super locale, You could go shopping. Shopping is always super fun at Target, especially if you don't have anywhere extravagant to go. You could just go to your Target. I've seen this one girl. I follow this girl on Instagram, although I haven't seen her. I haven't been on the last, less than 30 days. It's like the 26th or 27th day now or something. I think the 26th day. I just said 27th because I wish it was the 27th and it would only be 33 days to see social media again. But, it's like my long-lost friend, social media, that I haven't seen in a month. Anyways, you could, so what I was saying is, like, I follow this girl on social media who only puts on social media, like, shopping at Target and all the new things that are on at Target. Oh my gosh, how fun, like, if you got paid by Target to go shop there. So fun, so cool. Okay, anyways, preach the gospel would be an awesome thing to do instead of doing social media. You could just go out and, you could just go out and pray for people. You could go out and just see if the Lord was, like, leading you to anyone. Just go out and walk around, and then if the Lord spoke to you, and then pray for somebody, and then just tell them about Jesus and share, give them whatever the Lord is talking to you about them. Maybe the Lord will give you a word, or pray for healing, or whatever. Preach the gospel, bro. Like, that's such an awesome thing rather to do than be on social media. You could learn how to make really good coffee. And I say this because Caleb and I have bought all these different things to try to make coffee as good as it excuse me as good as it is at the coffee shop, but we realized we bought all these things like the Ghirardelli white chocolate. We bought like the Da Vinci vanilla flavoring. I've gotten different oat milks, and it's just not as good. The reason being, we think, is because we don't have an espresso machine. So we have to, I think that's the next thing to really make coffee good for us is an espresso machine. And I think that will really just take the cake and actually have some good coffee. Although, I don't know if we'll ever be able to make coffee like at the coffee shop. So, yeah. Okay. You could go lift. Lifting weights is the best way to lose weight, I think. Personally, lifting is an awesome thing to get into. You always feel so awesome when you lift weights. And you just can't go wrong lifting. You could go swim. Awesome thing to do for your body. Swimming, I think, is one of the hardest workouts. Honestly. Like, swimming is harder for me than... I don't know. I can swim, But I don't know. I don't have the, like, the breathing down of, like, the timing of breathing. I don't know if there's a timing, but, like, yeah. Or, like, putting the head down in the water and then turning your head and then down. Man, that's harder for me, but, you know, I can do it. It's just I'm not great at it. I'm just going to be honest. But swimming is a humongous workout. So awesome. You could go dancing, like salsa dancing, or dancing, like line dancing. There's a lot of that where we live. Yeah. Just try dancing with your friends, or with your husband, or whatever. You could go meet new people. So one thing I used to do is always go meet people when I lived in the city. I would just join, like, different groups. I would go do, like, find different random things in the area that were going on, and I would just go to them and meet new people, like at, like, local fairs. Like, they have, what am I trying to say? Not like a farmer's market. Yes, of course you can meet new people. I think that's a really awesome thing. But what am I trying to say? Like an art fair. That's what I'm trying to say. Those are awesome places to meet new people and, like, network and get to know people that live in your area. Oh my gosh, I met this sweet girl at an art fair earlier this year. And I followed her on Instagram, and she started out with, like, a sticker that she made with, like, the coolest colors, and I loved the colors, like the earthy tones that she had. And then she made, like, a hat, and then she ended up making clothing, and I just loved everything that she made. And she, like, inspired me so much to want to do, like, the same thing, make clothing and hats and stuff like that. I haven't done that yet, but I would love to do something like that. Everest is trying to eat electrical parts, so sorry about that. He's going to have to move on to some other fun things to do. Yeah. I mean, what else is there to do? You could... I'm yawning like I always do on the podcast. You could make, like, a new recipe. Like, look up a really fun, creative, wild recipe with ingredients you've never had before, and go get them, and then go to the store and make them, or get them and then come home and make them. I think that is super, such a fun thing. My sister made for my nephew's birthday these cake pops, and I don't know if I've made cake pops before, but the way that she made them, I really want to do that. She literally just took a regular cake and she put the whole cake in a bowl and mushed it all together, like frosting and cake and everything, and then put them into balls, and then put, like, almond bark, like white chocolate almond bark, and then put the sticks in and melted the chocolate, and then put the sticks in the little balls, and then froze them overnight, and then the next day put, like, white chocolate almond bark all over them, and then sprinkles. Oh my gosh. The coolest, best way to make cake pops in the world. Like, I think I heard someone making cake pops in a different way, but I really like the way that this person, like my sister did it, but the person before her made the cake pops. Okay, so I think that should be a few different ideas. Oh, one other idea that I did do that I wouldn't have normally done was a foot peel. Yeah, okay, it sounds disgusting, but one of my sisters did it, And it made my skin, like, it's super gross while you're getting all the skin off. So I just bought a foot peel on Amazon, and then I left it on my feet for however long it said, and then like a couple days later all this dead skin was coming off. It was super gross when it happened, but honestly, the coolest thing, like, it made my skin so soft. Caleb noticed it. He was like rubbing my feet. He was like, your feet are like baby bottom soft. It was awesome. And I had forgotten that I had done it, and he was like noticing it. He's like, it's from your foot peel. And I was like, yeah, bro. Like, it was awesome. I highly recommend doing a foot peel if your feet aren't perfectly soft, which mine aren't, because I grew up like on gravel. Like, growing up, I would run on the gravel like roads all the time. And so my feet got really calloused growing up and all that. So anyways, but I think that's about it. I think I'm going to start work now, or maybe just edit a YouTube video and finish that up and then work. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm really excited to explore Sam's Club today. It'll be like my first time ever at Sam's Club. And yeah, it's going to be like a new experience. Honestly, I wish we had Costco here, but we don't. So, anyways, Sam's Club it is. It's going to be a fun day. I love you. Thank you for listening. You can follow me on GoTGD on Twitter to message any like topic you want to talk about, me to talk about. You can follow, please subscribe to Georgia Hertzberg on YouTube. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Georgia Hertzberg _ on Instagram. Yeah, this whole thing is about no social media, but I'm gonna go back onto social media. But I do think it is good to have times where you're not on it and you kind of unplug in a way. I think it's really healthy and really important to kind of like shake yourself free from that world. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast, and I hope it inspires you a little bit, and we will see you next time.